Okay, came to Burleson in 1941. I was here as a teenager, and I was 19 years old. I was drafted in 44 here in Burleson in the military, and I got a letter from a draft board that said, all your friends and neighbors have decided to put you in the military, in the Army. And I didn't know I had that many friends and neighbors, but anyway, I was drafted. So they sent me, I had to go to Fort Walters. I went to Dallas for test, and then they sent me to Fort Walters for training. And I trained, I think it was 6 weeks. And then they sent me to California for some extra training, Fort Ord, California. And then from there, I went to Seattle, Washington, and stayed about a week, and they shipped me out on a Montrose troop ship. And we went to Honolulu. When I got to Honolulu, Hawaii, they assigned me to the 7th Infantry Division. And so they sent me to the Philippines. I was in the infantry in a demolition squad. They sent me to the Philippines with MacArthur when he went back. And I was in that battle there. And I got a citation from the Philippine government for helping out down there. And I was with the Philippine guerrillas over there in the infantry. And then when we got through with that campaign, then they said, well, we're going to Okinawa. We're going to make a beachhead, take that island. So I went, we was on a boat several days, a whole troop ship, LST with Amtrak's in it. So I hit in the first wave, they let me out, and we blew out 3 pillboxes on the beach. And I had 2 or 3 satchel charges, and I blew out 3 pillboxes there cut a 9-second fuse and took off. I was 19, just 6 foot tall, and weighed 138 pounds. I could run pretty fast then. So I threw them in on them Japanese, and I run, hit the dirt. That sailor that took me in there, I never will forget what he said, and he let me out. He said, boy, I'm glad I'm not going to stay here with you, Gilley. So he went back to the ship. He let me out up there. They sent him with me. And then the troops all landed. Then we went plumb across the island the first day. We didn't get very many casualties. And then we went, the Marines took the small end. There was 2 Marine divisions, and we took the 4 infantry divisions, took the big end. And then we went that way, and that's when we hit in some rough stuff over. I was with another guy named Wesley, and we was advancing over, and we got to the top of this hill and killed 2 or 3 guys that was with us, the Japanese, and the artilleryman looked down the hill and he said, man, there's 500 Japs coming up that hill. And Wesley said, dig a hole quick, Gilley. Dig a hole. And I jerked that shovel out and broke it first. Hit the dirt. So I started digging with my hands, and I pulled a big old rock up out of it. We got in that hole. He was shooting them Japs at machine gun, and I was crawling back, getting more ammunition. They couldn't get by nobody, and they'd throw me the ammunition, and I'd go back and feed another belt through there while Wesley was shooting. Finally shot all them Japs, and the artilleryman run off, said he was going to call for artillery. So he called it and throwed it right on top of us, too. The artillery killed a bunch of them Japanese. And when it was over with, that battle was over with, Wesley said, you see that big old rock down there, bottom of that hill? I said, yeah, why? And he said, you know you pulled that up out of the ground and throwed it down that hill? He said, I didn't think a man could lift that rock. I said, really? I said, I didn't even know I'd done that. I guess he's excited. So he said, I threw that rock down that hill, them Japs. And I didn't, it's a big old rock. He said, I know my hands was kind of bleeding where I dug it with my hands. But anyway, we kept going, kept fighting, having all kinds of battles. So one day we was pinned down behind the jungles over there. So they wanted me and Sergeant Armstrong, this guy, Sergeant was with me. wanted us to go scout over on the next hill and see if they could set up heavy artillery over there, see where them Japanese were.